Facebook cut me off really like suddenly, and I don't know what's going on. I'm not beyond the conspiracy theories that perhaps the topic we were discussing is what caused the problem. I have no idea. Um, I just know that it was really weird and very abrupt. But at any rate, I am back, and I'm hoping that you can see me now. And you know what? I might be. Let me double check here. Let me uh, do a refresh on my page to make sure I'm coming through okay. There I am. Okay, okay. Got it. Okay. All right. So let me know if you can hear me. Who was it? Latoya says they're listening. I know, right? I know Big Brother is listening. Big Brother has come in the form of Mark Zuckerberg, apparently. And so, we can't, we can't pretend like the police state is not real, that it doesn't sort of infiltrate every area of life right now. I want to make sure. Okay, so Ryan is giving me the sound check. Well, I appreciate it. Those of you who've been riding with us for a minute, that's kind of the routine. If you can give me that sound, that mic check in the beginning, I'd respect that and appreciate that. Also, in the beginning, if you could, also share this to your page, share it to your Twitter, your Facebook, tell your mama, tell your cousin, tell me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Anyway, I want to say that first of all, I want to say I love you. I love you, and I that ain't gonna change. And I also love you enough to tell you what I really think, even when I know you might get mad at me for it. I I was sitting here and I was thinking about this situation with this sister down in Baltimore, Korryn Gaines, and as many of you saw, Korryn was had an unfortunate encounter with the police that led to her death. Her son was in her arms when she was killed, which just really breaks my heart. I hated to hear this story, and so a lot of people were asking me about it. I got a call today from the Final Call, one of the best media outlets in this country, one of the media outlets that's most committed to truth in this country, truth and justice. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Final Call, and we talked about that. We discussed, and they're used to me telling them what I think, and I think my initial reaction was, like every case, I do this on every case, not just on this one, but I said, well, let me look at some of the information so I can really think about this as a black man who, I will quickly say something that will get me into trouble, but at the same time, if I'm gonna get in trouble, I'd rather get in trouble for telling the truth than to get in trouble for telling a lie or for jumping the gun or whatever. Even though we all make those mistakes. I'm sure I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but my goal is to try to minimize mistakes. Maybe I can't stop all mistakes from happening, but at the very least, I can reduce the number of mistakes that I make in my life. And so, in this particular situation, I said, okay, well, let me think on it. Let me look around. And go check some things out. And Yolanda brings up a good point. That was my first question. In case you don't know the story, Korryn was, she was killed by the police during a standoff. And they apparently showed up at her house. Part of the reason they showed up had to do with some outstanding traffic warrants. And my first question was, why would you have a standoff over traffic warrants? That part I don't understand. And then I had people sending me stuff, sending me videos of Korryn, and I actually have one of the videos. I want to watch it with you, and I want you guys to kind of give me some feedback on this. One video that really got my attention was one that involved her interacting with a police officer, and it just kind of how that went down, how that situation went down. It gave me the impression that she really didn't like the cops, first and foremost. And a lot of us don't like the bad cops. A lot of us don't like this system. I hate the system. A lot of the cops who support the system, it's unfortunate because they've made these officers enemies of the people in many cases, even though many of them don't want to be enemies of the people. But you kind of been pushed in that position because you're committed to this system that is proven beyond any doubt to be oppressive, totalitarian almost. It's a police state. It's not just racist, but it's incredibly oppressive to all American people. At the same time, I'm always coming from this perspective as the son of a cop. I've seen things, you know, in police departments that other people have not seen. I've seen cops who join the force for all the right reasons. I've seen cops get killed because they tried to help somebody. I've seen cops forced to care about problems of people that they don't even know, and to do a good job with that, to show more patience that I could have shown in certain situations, because we know that there's some crazy stuff going on out here. And in fact, you know, even going back to, and this is, I don't know how people feel about me referencing this, but I'm gonna reference it anyway. I even think about 9/11, and I think about how as the buildings were falling, everybody else was running away, and the police and firemen were running toward the devastation. They were running toward death. We were all running away from death. I don't think that can be taken off the table entirely. But what I do see is a country where white people and black people see the police differently, largely because they have different relationships with us. When they come to their neighborhoods, they're there to serve and protect. When they come to our neighborhoods, they're there to kill and destroy and to harass and things like that. I've seen cops believe that because they were dealing with, say, a black man, maybe a poor black man or a black man with a criminal record, they behave more like gangsters, like a street gang. You know, I can do whatever I want to you because I know that I'm not going to get in trouble, because who are they going to believe, me or you? You know, who are they going to believe? You know, an officer of the law or a convicted felon? And so those conversations happen too. So it's a real war. It's a real war. And it's an unfortunate war. It's an unnecessary war, but it's a war that's been created by the United States government. The cops themselves are victims of this process as well, because, you know, the cops, I don't think all the cops want to be connected to this system. I think that, unfortunately though, when you join a gang, which that's what the police are a gang. When you join a gang, and you wear the color blue, and your homeboys have been out here doing horrible things, wearing the same color, carrying the same flag, well, you're going to be held accountable for what they do too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a video. I'm going to shut up for a minute. I want you to watch this video. We're going to watch about 10 minutes of it. I want you to watch this video of Korryn Gaines interacting with a police officer during a traffic stop. And I kind of want you to, you know, as you decide how you feel about all of this, I want you to think it through, and I want you to give me your honest opinion. We are in a zone, you can even almost call it a no spin zone. We're in a truth seeker zone. We're not in a bandwagon zone. We're not in a we're not in the coon zone. We're in the zone of truth, whatever that means, and figuring out what happens and what's best for our community. That's the zone I live in. So if you come in with a preconceived notion, this might not be the place for you. You'll probably call me all kinds of names, but it don't bother me. When I say something that certain people agree with, they're like, we love you, boys, stand strong, brother. But then you say something they don't agree with, they're like, oh, you Uncle Tom, you ain't nothing but your weak ass nigga. You know, I don't pay attention to that. I've been dealing with that since for 20 years, since I've started writing for the public. But at the end of the day, I want to know what really happened. I want us to kind of really think this through and kind of come to conclusions that are independent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be quiet now, and I want you to check out this video, and I'm going to try to stream it. I want you to give a comment or two to let me know that you can see it. Also, take a second, take one moment, and share this to your Facebook page or your Twitter or whatever, so other people can see this video too. All right, so here you go. You should be able to hear this in a second. Let me know if you can hear and see her.
I'm sorry, who are you? Can you please identify yourself, please? Do you have a delegation of authority order?
Give me driver's license registration.
Am I free to go? Is there a crime being committed?
Can you tell me one more? Yeah, you don't have a driver's license. You don't have a tag.
Okay, who are you?
I am the Baltimore County Police Department.
Okay, so you.
I am the Baltimore County Police Department.
Okay, so let me inform you of who I am.
Who are you?
I do not participate in any of you guys' side laws and things like that. I don't participate in that. You are not, I don't participate in that. You are not authorized.
Let me see your driver's license, or I'll have to arrest you. And I don't know what you're going to do with your children. So
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You're going to arrest me for what now?
Because I have to be able to identify. You don't have any tag on
Sir,
this.
you have delegation of... Sure.
Okay.
And a
then will you
delegation
give
of
me your
authority
driver's
order.
And then will you give me your driver's license?
Listen, I already told you I don't
If you don't believe
participate.
I'm a police officer, here
Yes.
you go.
Okay.
Let me show you my
And you also have your delegation of authority order, correct?
My delegation identify. You don't have any tag on
Sir,
this
you
vehicle.
have yet to identify
I'm a
yourself.
Baltimore County police officer.
Okay, can I see some ID, please?
What kind of ID would you like?
I would like to see a picture of you and
you
also
wanna
a
see my police
delegation
ID?
of... Sure.
Okay.
And a
And then will you
delegation
give
of
me your driver's
authority
license?
order.
And then will you give me my
That is what authorizes you to be in... Okay, now that's not a delegation of authority order.
This is my police ID. This is by Baltimore County.
I understand that.
Do you have a driver's license or not?
Sir,
Yes.
do you have a delegation of authority
What is
order?
a delegation of authority order? Tell me. Explain that to me.
That is what authorized you to enforce the law. And
Delegation. Let me look for it for you real quick.
okay, it would not be that size. And
Delegation. Let me look for it for you real quick.
okay, it would not be that size.
How big would it be?
It would be something that you would
How
have
about my
to carry.
Maryland Police Training Commission certificate and
No,
training
sir.
standards?
Delegation of authority order. It's something
All right,
that
I'm-
authorizes you.
You see that tag?
I've seen it go.
We have. Do you know who she is?
Sir, can you identify yourself?
If I can't ID you, I have to arrest you. I don't understand.
Sir,
Just give me your license.
li-
To arrest you, I don't understand.
Sir,
Just give me your license.
Listen,
Yeah.
you have yet to identify yourself. At
identified
this point in time, I don't know who you are and why you're pulling me over. You are
Turn
not...
this car off. Turn this car off.
Sir, can you identify yourself?
I'm telling you.
You are not-
Turn this car off. Turn this car off.
Sir, can you identify yourself?
I'm telling you one more time. Turn the car off.
Sir,
Otherwise,
can
I'm
you
gonna take
identify yourself?
What,
Okay. He's turning my
off. Get out of the
car.
car.
ma'am,
No, I'm not
do you have a
complying
driver's-
to that. Turning my
Get
car.
out of the car.
Ma'am,
No, I'm not
do you have a
complying
driver's-
to that. Listen,
Oh my-
I'm not
So you wanna
complying
be
to that.
arrested?
Here's I own this vehicle.
So you want to be arrested? You have a child in the back seat. I'm trying
No,
to
I
help you out.
understand that.
Do you? I mean, do you want me? How?
I understand that.
Do you? I mean, do you want me? How? You have
Listen,
a child. Think,
I
think,
don't want to be
think.
arrested.
Then-
That's number
then-
one.
Then do as
All
I
I'm
ask, please.
asking
I'm
you
working
for-
with you. I showed you
all
my
I'm-
police ID. I
Right.
don't have to do that, but I did it because I'm working with you.
Sir,
Okay? You don't
you're
have a tag on the
you're pulling
vehicle.
me
In Maryland, you
This
have to
is-
have a registered motor vehicle to
Listen,
drive.
okay, all right. So this is what we're gonna do,
Okay. What are we gonna do?
and I'll explain
How
to
can we help
you.
you?
I'll explain to you
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
why I don't have a tag on my car.
Okay, well, that's all you had to say that from Jump Street, and we wouldn't have this. Okay, well, that's all you had to say that from Jump Street, and we wouldn't have this problem.
No.
The only
I'm
reason
still
I'm
waiting for you to
Okay,
to
get what
identify
you gotta
yourself.
Get what you gotta get.
Okay.
I've identified myself.
Now, this is who I am.
Okay.
You
Who are you?
can read that. The owner of this vehicle.
You are Miss Gaines. Okay. Do
The
you
owner of
have
this-
a Maryland? Or is this vehicle registered in Maryland? Do you
Yes,
have a license
listen,
plate?
it was.
Was okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm in the middle of suing you guys
Okay.
in ECI, and they came and took my. I'm in the middle of suing you guys
Okay.
in ECI, and they came and took my tags off of my car. My car was properly insured.
Who's ECI?
That's a Eastern Correctional Institution.
Eastern
Okay.
Correctional?
I'm in the middle of actually. Still have my car keys.
Why is it?
You know they're talking about stealing my vehicle. Did he give me mine? I need to have my information.
I'm still using it.
For what? You said you
I gotta
already
write your
read my
ticket. I
information.
gotta write your ticket.
You don't have to write me any tickets. I won't be signing
You
anything.
don't have to
So
sign. They're all
okay,
on.
you have my information pulled up. I would like to have my ID
I'll give
and
it
my
back to you in a
and my
minute. I'll give it back
car
to you in
and
a minute.
stuff,
I will give it back to you.
and also my car keys.
Hey,
Oh.
step back in the car. We'll give it to you when we're ready, all right?
Thanks.
Okay, well, how long will that be?
Waiting for the tow truck to go. So, waiting for the tow truck to go. So, 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
If you get the kids out of the car, if you do all the
Oh no, I'm not. You won't be touching me or my children. No, they know not to give them to me too, because I pull right off on their asses.
He just was being nice. He just was being nice.
Me, right? Yeah, we gonna show this. These bitches gonna see a fight today. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that. They gonna have to kill me. Hey, Cody. They tell you get out this car or take your seatbelt off. You do not get out this car. Do you understand? You better fight they asses. Fight them. Do you hear me? I'm not.
All right, man. Here's your citations. Okay.
You can keep them.
I can't keep them. I'll give them to you.
No, I won't be accepting those.
All right.
You guys already?
You don't have to sign them. It doesn't mean you're guilty. It means.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want them.
Okay, but I have to give them to you. So, okay, but I have to give them to you. So here, I'll put them in your car for you. So it is on camera. Hey, you two people. All right, and this is your notice of advice. All right, you want to read this?
No, thank you.
I'll leave it with your copies. All right, you got it. Since you've been charged with citation, so you can read it at a later date.
I just want my
Here's
information
your
back.
license back, and here's your.
Thank you. And where are my car keys?
We're waiting for the tow. Okay, so I would right now get all your stuff out. Okay.
Okay, where are my car keys?
We have to give them to the tow truck driver. We have to give them to the tow truck driver. We'll take the car key off and give you the rest of the keys. Okay.
I want my car keys now. Okay, that's fine.
So what? If you don't get out when the tow truck driver gets here, you'll be placed under arrest. Okay.
Okay.
Placed under arrest. Okay.
Okay.
And what do you?
Listen, you're not gonna kidnap me, so get ready for. You can go ahead. Listen, you're not gonna kidnap me. I've never been arrested. I'm not committing a crime. There is no victim here. So there's no victim here. So when the first chance you put your hands on me, I promise you I will own your ass in that department over there. I promise you that.
What does that mean?
I promise you.
What does that mean?
I promise you that. The first time you lay a first time.
What about the second time?
You won't. I'll be. Listen.
Honestly, I'm giving you all these
Listen.
chances. Why are you acting?
A chance to do what?
To get out of your car with your children.
Sir, you're trying to steal my car and you're telling me that if I don't get out my car that you're gonna kill. You're trying to steal my car and you're telling me that if I don't get out my car that you're gonna kidnap me and probably planning on kidnapping my kids too. It's not gonna happen.
Does that even make sense to you?
Listen.
Does that make
If
any
you
sense?
plan on shooting somebody today, then you can get your wish. When you put your hands on me, I promise you, you will have to murder me. You will have to murder me. So go ahead and get ready to do that. You will have to kill me. I promise you. I'll give you this camera and I want you to make sure you record all of this. Okay? They're going to try to fight me. Do you understand? And I want you to record every part. Do you understand? They're going to try to fight me. Do you understand? And I want you to record every part. Do you understand? Don't be afraid. And these are 3 male officers for 1 female. 3 of them.
Ma'am, are you gonna get out?
I will not be getting out here, Cody.
Hello? Hello? You know it's not that bad. It's just an uninsured vehicle. You know that, right?
It wasn't an uninsured vehicle.
You know the whole sovereign citizen and your tag's not a legit tag in any state.
Sir, this is what I have to explain to him. Sir, this is what I have to explain to him. I'm in the middle of suing the government. The government actually came and took my tags off of my car. My car was properly insured. My car was up to date with everything.
Okay.
And I have pictures of that as well. They left an MVA note and they also left a a case number that never showed up in the system when I called. Okay, I understand exactly the system when I called. Okay, I understand exactly what's going on here. And like I told them, he even admitted on camera that he had seen my car before. So they have been working on this day for a minute now. They know exactly where I live at. I'm not sure if they live at. I'm not sure if they know what they're doing. And they will have to kill me today.
No, nobody wants to
They
kill you.
will have to. They will have to,
You know,
in
if
front
you
of my
don't get
children
out,
and everything.
you're going
That's
to jail, right?
listen, and they will not kidnap.
You're going
That's
to jail, right?
listen, and they will not kidnap me. They're not gonna steal my vehicle, and they're not gonna kidnap me the way they think that they are. They're gonna have to kill me today, and it's something that they're not gonna anticipate,
Nobody
but they
wants to kill
will
you.
today, and it's something that they're not gonna anticipate,
Nobody
but
wants
they
to kill you
will.
over an
That
uninsured
exactly,
vehicle.
that is exactly what you guys want to do.
No, we won't. You realize you're going to jail here soon, right?
Listen, I've never been to jail, and I never will go. You guys will take me away from here in a body bag. Do you look at me in my eyes? You guys are gonna take me away from here in a body bag. I promise you.
Okay, ma'am. We'll see.
I promise you, you will.
Does she live in Carrickville? The one with the fake tag? No.
If you guys think that you're gonna kidnap me,
I'm not kidnapping you,
willingly,
I'm arresting you.
willingly,
Is someone home
shit.
for your kids?
you crazy.
I'm crazy.
I'm not getting out.
What do you want us to do with your children?
Getting out.
What do you want us to do with your children? You know we're
Listen.
going to send them to a social
Listen.
worker, right?
Okay.
Can you comprehend that?
Listen, my daughter breastfeeds. My son is
Oh,
it's
what-
okay.
That's why
Listen,
hospitals and social
it's okay.
services and
Right.
everything.
All right. Okay.
Services and
Right.
everything.
All right. That's fine. I have family that will take care of them, and I have family that know who I am, and I already warned them about this day. Okay. I'm not afraid of y'all. I don't know what the fuck y'all don't get. I'm not scared of y'all.
We're not asking you to be scared. We just want
And I'm not complying to y'all criminal fucking ways. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, we'll see.
We are gonna see. You see these fucking rebels back here live on forever, my nigga. Forever. All right, shit.
I'm agreeing with you. What else do you want to have from me?
To get away from my car.
I'm not
That's
getting
what I
away
want
from
you to
your
do.
car.
To get the fuck away from my car. And find something fucking better else to do.
I'm not the one driving.
Ain't no
the
victim
vehicle.
here, and there's no fucking crime going on.
It is a crime.
It is not a crime. That's bullshit.
Yes, it is.
It's all for y'all to get money, and I don't participate in the shit. And y'all not gonna get a fucking dime out me. I'ma sue the shit out of y'all though, and y'all gonna pay for this shit. And y'all gonna pay my kids for the rest of their fucking life for this shit.
I hope so.
I hope so too. So too. While y'all fucking burn in hell. All y'all fucking pigs. Yeah, get all that.
You gonna take it? You gonna take the cell phone? I would take it and I'd pull it all off. But I think it's self-incriminating, that's all.
No, you guys are self-incriminating yourselves. Nobody has presented a delegation of authority order. He don't even know what the fuck it is. So who the fuck are y'all? A bunch of fucking gang members plotting on a fucking woman. But whoever sent y'all is... Hey, mama. Hey.
Babe, do you want to get out of the vehicle?
Give me a kiss.
To get your children out?
Mommy love you. Don't cry. I told you, don't be scared.
I know, I heard.
Huh?
Just to let you know, man, that we have a taser operator coming. Okay, that way we don't have to go hands-on with you.
Don't cry. Stop crying. Cry. Stop crying.
So we have to get you out of this car.
Don't cry. Stop crying. Hey, look at me. What are you afraid of? Remember what I told you? You stop crying, okay? And you let them know that they stole your mother and they Okay. Stop crying. Can you shut her door? Don't. What did I just tell you? Tell you.
Don't cry.
I just want to make
Don't
sure I
cry,
can hear
and you better fight. Y'all need to get away from them. You come up. You come up here with me,
She's grabbing the baby now. Come on, stop. All right.
sir.
Stop.
Don't
I don't want her
put
to
your
take the baby.
hands on
You're
me.
not touching the baby, all right? Use a good hand. Stop.
This is my child.
You're gonna
Get off of her.
You're gonna
Get off of her. Come up here, son.
Okay.
Now, don't move from that seat.
Hey,
Stay there.
did you hear what I said? Get up here with mommy.
Hey, buddy.
Get up here with mommy.
Hey, buddy.
Sit right here with mommy. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
You see what they do to us, right? You see what they do to us, right? You fight them.
Okay.
They are not for us.
Okay.
They want to kill us. And you never, ever back down from them.
Okay.
We don't want to kill you.
Back down from them.
Okay.
We don't want to kill you. We're your friends. We're here
Do
to
you
help
believe that?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're your friend.
He's seen videos of you shooting people that look like his father and shit. So don't even talk to him. And it's not funny. Shooting people that look like his father and shit. So don't even talk to him. And it's not funny. It's really not funny.
The way you're raising your children.
It's really not funny.
It's not.
It's really not funny. Oh, to go against the fucking law that wants to kill them?
So tell them
Of
why.
course I won't raise a law that wants to kill them.
So tell them
Of
why.
course I won't raise no submissive ass fucking children.
why.
Absolutely not. I don't have to lie to him. I can pull a video up for him right now of you killing people for no fucking reason. People that look like his uncle, people that look like his uncle, his brother, his sister, anybody.
You just don't realize what you're talking about.
Right. You keep recording. Oh, listen, ain't even a crime being committed. Oh yeah, y'all came to kill some shit today. But it's okay, because I've been waiting for
You
it.
still have a chance to
I've
get
been
out of
waiting
your
for
car.
this.
You still have a chance to get out of your car
I've been
man, with your
waiting for
children. And walk
Why
down.
would I get out of my car? Why?
You still have a chance to get out of your car man, with your children. And walk
Why
down.
would I get out of my car? Why would I allow y'all to steal my car? Why?
Ma'am, you still have a chance to get out of your vehicle and walk home with your children. Ma'am, you still have a chance to get out of your vehicle and walk home with your children. It's right, you live in Carricho, which is right there. I'm giving you that opportunity right now. You understand?
I'm giving you an opportunity to walk away
You don't have that.
and not
you don't
have
that option.
and not have a murder here in Churchill
I'm not
today.
promising you. I promise you
Oh,
that.
okay. Well,
I'm
one
not
of you
gonna-
will.
I'm not gonna do that.
One of you will.
No, we won't.
I promise you, you will. Unless y'all got a horse, tranquilizer out here, which still won't work. Which still won't work. And I promise
Ma'am,
you
you can
that.
get out of your vehicle right
Okay.
now with your children. and
Yeah,
walk
you
home.
wait on that.
Okay, I'm letting you know. You still have that option.
Okay. And you still. Okay, like that.
Alright, let's pull her out. Alright, let's pull her out. We're not gonna deal with this.
Make sure you record everything. Okay?
Can't wait to watch the baby, bro. Watch the baby.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
I'll
get
put
the
her
baby.
down.
Hey, come on,
You had that option already?
Okay, so I see you guys finished watching the video and saw what happened here. I hope you can still see me and hear me okay. You know, I was sad to watch this. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but watching this really made me sad. And you know, not so much because you can clearly point out any kind of right or wrong. on this. I don't really think you can. I think that watching this video, what it does is it kind of says it's a reminder to all of us just of what we're all tired of. When she brought up the point about police brutality and men being killed, police killing men that look like her son's uncle, that look like her son's father. Not a single person watching this thread could disagree with what she said. This is the issue that we've all been concerned about. This is the issue that's upset all of us. I think that at the worst, you could try to argue that the approach was not necessarily one you would want to see happen in front of children, right? I think most of us felt for the kids. I know I did. In fact, what connected with me was the young lady in this, Korryn. She's 23. Her son's 5. Her daughter's 1. Well, that's almost identical to me, my mother, and my sister at that stage. When my mother was 23, I was 5. At that point, my sister was about to be born, so she was 1 year younger than her daughter. My sister's 5 years apart from me. And I remember just kind of feeling like, wow, what would I do if my mother was telling me something like this at the age of 5? I tried to literally, in my mind, in my spirit, in my heart, I tried to go back to when I was 5 years old and how I felt around my mother. My mother was a goddess to me. What she said was the gospel. So if I'm sitting there and my mother has declared somebody else to be the enemy, and my mother is saying, you fight them, then I'm going to fight them. I can remember times when my mother would tell me things about people that she had a disagreement with or didn't like. And if mama said it, it was true. I think most of us, had that same connection with our mothers. And so, I just don't know how to feel about, about that little boy being in that situation. On one hand, obviously, our parents are the ones who bring us into the struggle. Our parents are the ones who tell us much about what our values are going to be, what our values should be. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. But then there are times also when we inherit a war that we may not necessarily have wanted. We may be pulled into a situation where, we're saying, wow, my mother really felt strongly about this issue, but I don't know if that was necessarily the right approach. And and I just, because, for example, like with religion, a lot of people are committed to a certain religion, not because they really chose it on their own, but because their mother was bringing them to that church at an early age, or their father was telling them that this is what you should believe and this is the truth, etc. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes you'll see kids that are trapped in very cult-like situations where they never had a chance to make a choice. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with this sister here at all, but I will say that, like everybody else, my heart poured out for those kids. They don't have a mother now. They will grow up orphaned. They're going to need therapy now. This little boy, not his sister, but the little boy is going to go through his life, and his last memories of his mother will be, sitting on her lap while she was being gunned down by the police. And I think another thing that really does, cause concern, I think a lot of people had their first reaction was similar to what mine was. Or at least here's what mine was when I talked to the Final Call, the Nation of Islam's paper today, one of the best media outlets in the country. And they asked me about it, and I said, I need to just think about this a little bit, because I need to make sure that I tell you exactly how I feel and not have that be affected by how other people tell me to feel, one way or the other. If I should feel radical, if I should feel measured, if I should feel whatever. And my conclusion is that when you talk, and I'm still going to form my thoughts on this, but my conclusion at this point is that, it sounds to me like she was a person who had decided that she did not have to respect the authority of the state. Does that make her wrong? Not necessarily. Does that make her crazy? Not necessarily. Because all of us agree that the state abuses its authority, particularly when it comes to black people. All of us agree on this. And if this same story had played out 250 years ago, and this same woman was being pulled over by the slave patrol, which the current police department descends from the slave patrols. If this woman had been stopped by the slave patrols and said, I refuse to acknowledge your system. You gonna have to kill me. Because you notice she talked about her death probably 8 times in that video. If she had been pulled over by Slave Patrol and had that same conversation 250 years ago, y'all might be talking about her like she's a hero, like she's a Harriet Tubman. Because that's what Harriet Tubman said. Harriet Tubman said, I refuse to recognize your authority, white man. What you're doing to my people is wrong. You're going to have to kill me to keep me from doing what I think is the right thing. And I'm going to raise my children in the struggle. And there's nothing you can do about that. Right? I hope you're still with me on this. So it's interesting because if you also go back in time and you maybe look at the way other black people might have perceived Harriet Tubman, they probably wouldn't have supported her. They probably would have said, you know, hey, I know you're right about this, but that's not the way to go about it, and you don't want to put your children in the middle of harm's way. That's not appropriate. So there is a possibility that based on a certain point of view, that Korryn Gaines was more courageous than all of us. That maybe she, you know, could be defined. Maybe history will define her as a hero, martyr, whatever you want to call it, whatever the case may be. Because I do think that there's a very different way in which we see things happening right now in front of us versus the way we see those same events 50 or 100 years in the future. When Martin Luther King was getting arrested and got killed fighting for civil rights, some people got it, some people didn't. Some people said, how dare you challenge the authority of the state? You just don't do that. That's crazy. When the Black Panthers were having shootouts with the cops, we like to tell stories about it. We think it's heroic. We think it's amazing. But at that time, they were just a bunch of Negroes with guns breaking the law, right? So a lot of black people didn't identify with what the Panthers were doing. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to say that everything that happened in the video made sense or that I was comfortable with it. I was cringing during this video because I you know, even the most radical people I know, if they're pulled over by the police, they cooperate in some way or whatever. I think a lot of us identify with those who were killed by the cops when they tried to cooperate, as opposed to those who were killed by the cops when they either were uncooperative or they used a weapon, right? In those cases, for some people, that's when all bets are off. Look, you didn't cooperate or you pulled out your gun, so of course, you know, it is what it is, right? Now, I think from a pragmatic standpoint, I saw somebody mention in the comments, you know, this idea of telling your son to fight back against armed police. That would be defined to be bad advice if your number one objective is to make sure that your son is alive and safe and everything else. But it's not necessarily bad advice if you believe that sometimes you got to die for what you believe in. I'm not saying that this is what people should feel one way or the other, but I'm saying this is just a perspective. You can look at it from different points of view. Because one thing that is fundamentally true about history, and you can check the history of any country on this earth, the history of any country on this planet, any sovereign territory in the history of the world, and one thing you will find as a common factor in all struggles for liberation is that at some point somebody had to die. At some point somebody had to do what Korryn Gaines did and just say, you know what, you're gonna have to kill me. You know, and now again, you know, I'm not saying that there's any clear way to look at this, because really it's a matter of perspective. It's really like, you know, asking somebody how they feel about what she did is really like asking somebody, is chocolate ice cream better than strawberry, or strawberry better than you know, than some other flavor, orange sherbet or whatever. It's all a matter of preference. I mean, because we all agree in the direction, right? We all agree that the cops are corrupt, that the police, that the system is screwed up. We all agree that these deaths are uncalled for and unfortunate. Now, there are those of us who want to march and pray and hope that Jesus is going to come fix it. There are those of us who want to file lawsuits and hope that they can get fixed in the courts. There are those of us who want to engage in more aggressive action. And then there are those who want to pull out a gun and respond, right? I don't necessarily think you can easily argue that any of those groups are necessarily crazy people. You know, again, I don't know. I mean, if you think about Micah Johnson and the other brother, Gavin Long, who pulled out their guns on the cops. I wasn't one to say, oh yeah, that's what I would have done, or oh yeah, that was a good idea. I wasn't saying any of that, but I was one to say that, well, it's not like you can't understand what they were frustrated about, and it's not like you can write them off as crazy necessarily, because whenever somebody attacks the United States, people who defend the United States pull out their guns and they start killing people. The only difference is that you are making a distinction between a sanctioned war and an unsanctioned war. We tend to think that things that are sanctioned by the U.S. government are more legitimate than things that are unsanctioned by the U.S. government. And I don't agree with that line of thinking. I think that your battle is your battle, and apparently Korryn had chosen this as her battle. I mean, at the very least, you could say she didn't waver. She was very consistent. And so I'll just say though, at the end of the day, I also kind of wondered. At first, I wondered about mental health. I thought to myself, I said, I wonder if everything was going on mentally in the right way. Right now, on one hand, in every single one of the cases where I'm thinking about the 3 big cases that have happened in the last, say, 2 or 3 months. Micah X in Dallas, who shot the cops there. The brother, I don't know about Gavin Long. His name should come up first because he was actually a student in one of our classes, which led to some weird scrutiny. And you go to this sister, Korryn Gaines. In all 3 of those cases, one of the things that's real interesting, because I was talking to Killer Mike, the rapper, he's an activist and everything else. I was talking to him about this. He brought up the fact that these 2 brothers were trained to kill in the U.S. military. They both had post-traumatic stress disorder, and it was untreated. Therefore, that's what led to the death, etc. I've also seen people. I saw somebody make a comment where they mentioned that Korryn might have had some lead poisoning and excuse me, and some mental instability issues. Now, what concerns me about that, not to say these things aren't true, maybe they are true, but it's interesting that when we see very aggressive behavior on the part of those who are fed up with the same issues that we're all fed up about, we tend to sort of want to find some sort of way to categorize what just happened so that it makes sense to us, without necessarily justifying the behavior or vilifying it. Sort of saying like, okay, well, the reason he did it was because he had a mental issue, or the reason she did it was because she had an untreated schizophrenia or something like that. And I would just dare to say that sometimes maybe people aren't really crazy. I mean, sometimes they just don't give a shit anymore. Sometimes they literally get to the point where they're just like, you know what, I ain't got nothing to lose at this point. The most dangerous man in the room is the man who has nothing to lose. The most dangerous woman in the room is the one who has nothing to lose. So, again, and I have to be real careful on this. Somebody just mentioned, they said, Dr. Boyce, be careful. The feds are watching. The feds been watching me since I was 25 years old. I ain't scared of that. But, I don't know if we can necessarily always put it in that mental illness checkbox in order to make ourselves feel better. Maybe there are times, if you think about slavery, the slave that fought back against slave masters might have been perceived by other slaves to be mentally ill because you maybe have to be a little crazy to challenge the power of the state, because there's a good chance you're going to lose. But maybe everybody else was crazy and they were the only ones who were cursed with common sense. Maybe they were cursed with this idea that black people should be treated fairly, and this doesn't make any sense. This is insane. I mean, imagine if you had to live in 1605 with the mind that you have right now. You see freedom. You see something that kind of looks like equality a little bit. It's not really, but you do have a little bit of opportunity. You're not a slave anymore anyway. And imagine if somebody transplanted you back to 1605 or 1702. None of that would make any sense to you, but you would be seen as insane. You would literally be seen as insane. So I would just almost say that here's what we know about racism, and studies show this. Studies show that racism does make you crazy. Racism does cause chemical imbalances in those who have to deal with it. That's why I argue, that's why I've consistently stated to black people who are dealing with racism on a day-to-day basis, on the job, when you go out, or when you deal with, the political system, with the police, whatever, try your best to get away from that. Especially on the job. The job is the biggest type of racism that most of us deal with on a day-to-day basis. You go to work and then white folks are treating you like crap, and you go home and you're mad, and you're cussing out your spouse and all this other stuff because you're so stressed out. That's not good for you. That's going to kill you. That will eat away at your spirit and eat away at your health, both mentally and physically. I advocate for the idea of getting away from it. That's why I quit my job. I couldn't work with those racist bigots at Syracuse University. I had to get away from that. Because what does happen though is that if you are in a situation where you're being consistently frustrated and you're constantly having to rub shoulders with those same people who are oppressing you, then eventually the heat's going to get hot and it's going to get ugly. So if I had kept working with some of those racist people on my job, then there is a chance that it could have spilled over into something, maybe violence, I can't tell you how many times I fantasize about drop kicking somebody in the face on the way to work. And so for my own mental health, my own safety, I had to just try to get away from that. Now with police, is a different kind of thing. It's harder to get away from police. This sister was in Baltimore. The last time I got pulled over by the cops was in Baltimore. And the interesting thing was that I hadn't done anything wrong. I had done nothing wrong. I wasn't speeding, wasn't doing nothing. And they were harassing me. So we know that Baltimore police do harass people, apparently. I mean, not just because it happened to me, but because there's so many reports that say this happened. And just recently, you have Freddie Gray killed by the police. Their legal system lets the cops go, and they expect people to sort of just kind of go on with business as usual. Well, you're not going to get business as usual. You're going to have people that are going to stay mad about this. And you can't tell them that they don't have a right to be angry. Of course they do. So I remember, and I'll tell you guys what happened when I got pulled over by the cops in Baltimore. It was an interesting situation. By the way, as I move on, if you haven't shared this to your social media, hit the share button real quick. Take 1 second and share it to your page or to your Twitter feed, or invite other people to the conversation, because I want to hear what other people think. Also, by the way, I'm giving away free e-copies of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. So if you want a free e-copy, visit drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. All right. So Jack says, I'm not sharing this garbage. Absolutely. Please don't do it, Jax. But please stay, because apparently you must see something that is getting your attention because you're hanging out with us. All right. So here's what happened. All right. So I was there. I was giving a speech in Baltimore. And I saw one of my friends, a friend that worked at Ebony Magazine, and we were talking for a minute in the car. While we're sitting in the car, we didn't sit there long because I didn't know the neighborhood I was in. It was dark, and I don't really mess around with hoods where I don't know anybody. And so I was sitting in the car. I said, okay, let's go ahead and go. And before we could get out of the car, the police pulled up, and it was real interesting. And this is where this sort of lack of bedside manner, if you will, by the police often causes confrontations that are not necessary. The cops didn't say a word. I looked at them and I said, hey, how you doing? They didn't say anything. They just looked at me, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So immediately there's tension because you can't even say hello. Hey, we just want to check on you, make sure you're all right. None of that. They just sat there and looked at, and these were black cops. Somebody said it's because you're black. No, these are black cops. Baltimore, here's the thing you got to understand about Baltimore. Baltimore's run by black people. The mayor's black. The judge in the Freddie Gray case was black. I think all the lawyers in the case were black. I don't know about all of them, but a lot of them were black. The state's attorney was black. You got black people all over the place in Baltimore. But as you know, Baltimore is kind of a funny city. Baltimore is a very classist kind of place. It's a little bit screwed up in certain ways. Baltimore got some major issues that are unique to that city. I've been to 100, 200, 300, 400 cities across the country, however many hundreds of cities I've been to. Baltimore is unique. Baltimore kind of stands out in a lot of ways I won't go into. So these black cops in Baltimore pull up to me, and I say hello. They don't say anything back. They just look at me, have me thinking, okay, are you about to kill me? Did somebody come send you to kill me? Because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's thought about killing me at some point. And so I don't say anything. I just, Tia gets out, or that was her name, my friend. She gets out of the car, and she tries to de-escalate the situation because she can see that I'm a little bit irritated. Like, wow, like these guys didn't even say anything. And she walks up and she says, hi, can you watch me on my way to my car to make sure I'm okay? So my friend, she goes to her car. I don't know if they said anything to her or not. I have no idea. I drive away because I'm like, let me just get out of here. I don't know if I should be scared of the fact that I'm in a neighborhood that I don't know, or scared of the police, or scared that somebody's going to jack me. Like, I'm just like, let me just get out of this situation. So I drive away. I make a right, and then another right, and then I make a left because I'm headed to the freeway. I see blue and red lights in my rear view. I'm seeing the cops. So I'm like, what the hell is it now? Like, I didn't do anything. Again, think about it. I had not done anything. I'm like a Boy Scout for the most part when it comes to breaking law. I mean, I'm not out here thugging. My thugging days are behind me. I ain't out here banging, right? So I get pulled over, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, by this point, think about this. I went from I'm the son of a cop now. I went from being a law-abiding citizen who respects police when they're doing their job effectively. My father, with him being the cop, my response to cops is always yes sir, no sir. I don't care if you're 22 years old. I'm still gonna give you that respect. Whatever. I don't care. Is it annoying to be 45 saying yes sir, no sir to a 24-year-old? Yes, it is. But I'll do it anyway. Fine. Whatever. Let's just deal with this. But I went from this law-abiding citizen who respects the cops to a pissed off black man who's wondering why are y'all fucking with me? That's literally where my mindset went to. So police, I think, have to be trained on how they take good people and turn them into bad people. That's what the whole criminal justice system does. This whole police brutality issue is really the tip of the iceberg. The entire iceberg is the entire system. You go all the way to the prisons where they haul us away in droves. And what do they do in prison? They take good people and turn them into bad people. And then they make money going out and killing the bad people. So what Korryn said about y'all trying to make money off of me, she's right about that too. She's right about that too. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say I would have handled it the way she did. Again, I cringed like everybody else when I saw what was going on with the babies. I hated the fact that the baby was in the car. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, do we have to do this in front of the kids? But I'm sitting there like, man, like the more I'm listening to her, the more I'm like, huh. She don't sound crazy to me. She just sounds mad. She sounds like somebody who probably could have easily been a decent law-abiding citizen if y'all had not been killing off the people she loved for her whole entire life. Maybe you need to look at this system that has radicalized people like that and challenge that, as opposed to always thinking about radical black people as roaches that you need to exterminate. So the cop pulls me over, and I'm just, by this time I'm annoyed, but I'm like, okay, boys, just be cool. You in a city where you don't know that. I'm literally, see, this is what I'll tell you, how racism makes you crazy. Now I'm talking to myself, right? Just sitting there thinking like, what the hell? What is this shit? So I'm sitting in the car. I'm like, okay, boys, just be calm. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Don't move. Don't grab your phone. Don't try to turn down the radio. Don't do nothing, because you move your hands. Next thing you know, headline is Dr. Boyce Watkins gets gunned down by the cops because he was going for the gun that they mysteriously found next to the vial of crack in his front seat. Because they plant stuff. Cops do plant stuff. So I'm sitting in the car. Hands are frozen. Officer walks up to my window, and I'm like, still forcing myself to be polite. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Is there a problem? He said, we ran your plates and your car, I think he said something that was almost accusatory, like your car isn't registered, or your car isn't registered, blah blah blah. Like, he was basically, in so many words, I think, implying that I was probably a drug dealer who stole the car. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. This happened about 2 months ago, right in Baltimore, not too far from where Freddie Gray was killed. So I was like, this is a rental car. I'm here. I gave a speech. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So he asked for proof that it's a rental car. So I pull out the proof. I give it to him. Now, here's the last really effed up, I want to say fucked up thing, but I'm trying my best not to cuss. So I won't say that it was fucked up. So I'm going to just try not to cuss here. Here's the last really stupid thing that happened. So this guy takes my license. This is now the point here is the disrespect that y'all show citizens, even when they're trying to help y'all, even when they're trying to be law-abiding citizens. The disrespect. That's what y'all need. Y'all need to just be trained on respect. Y'all work for us. We pay taxes to put you in your job, so you need to at least show respect. So here's what happened. He takes my stuff and goes. He gave me my license back. Or something. He goes back to the car with some of my stuff. I think he might have had my license. Now that I think about it, I think he had my license. He literally goes back to the car, and by this time now, there's like 4 police cars behind me. I'm like, why are there 4 police cars behind me? Then I'm starting to wonder, like, did I break the law? Maybe I got a parking ticket I didn't pay. Oh man, this is about to go down. Am I gonna be in handcuffs? Like, what's going on? So 4 police cars are behind me by now. He goes back to the car, gets in the car, and totally forgets that I'm even sitting there. So literally 5 minutes go by. I'm like, man, I gotta go. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. And nobody comes back to tell me that I can leave. So I'm in a dilemma. Like, okay, do I just sit here like for the rest of the night, hoping that somebody realizes that I'm here? Because I think that something else started happening. I don't know if they were harassing somebody else, or if they were talking about, which donut shop they wanted to go to after. I had no idea. So I was like, well, what do I do? Because I can't leave, because if I leave, next thing you know, they're going to lock me up for evading. I'm sure there's some law against driving away from a police stop or whatever, right? So I'm still sitting there frozen, hands on the steering wheel, waiting for this guy to come back. Finally, he comes back and he goes, oh, here you go. You can go. And so by this time, I am furious because you just wasted like 30 minutes of my life over some bullshit, over nonsense, over something that didn't have to happen. And so basically, that in a nutshell is just one of many, many, many. I mean, I was lucky. They didn't hurt me. You know, there's brothers out there that have been shot and murdered. There are brothers out there who can't say, "Oh, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm on TV. I'm famous." Like if I get killed by the cops, it's going to go down. It's going to be a story, right? They can't just kill me and sort of pretend like I was slinging crack or whatever. But there are lots of people, millions of people who go through similar experiences. And why is that? It's because the police have been trained in the police state since the start of the war on drugs to believe that they don't have any obligation whatsoever to show fundamental respect toward American citizens. That's your problem. That's your issue. That's what you need to fix. You're refusing to fix it, and that's why you're having this uprising within the citizenry of people that are tired of your nonsense. They're not going to put up with this no more. And you got people now that really just generally hate cops of no matter what. There was a time where you could become a cop and people would be proud of you. Your family members would be glad to say you joined the police force. When my father used to pick me up from school in a police car, I was proud of that. I thought that was cool. He had a certain kind of authority. But now, there was a young lady who asked me, she said, should I, I'm thinking about becoming a police officer. I said, I don't think this is the time. I think that you join the boys in blue, you join that street gang, people are going to respond to you, and you might end up paying a price for the beefs that was started by other people. You might end up in bad situations because people just don't like you because of what you do. And I just think that's wrong because here's the thing about that Korryn Gaines video. By the way, if you just got here, we're talking about the police shooting of Korryn Gaines in Baltimore. And I actually heard from someone who knows her, and I'm going to mention in a second what he said about her, because I want everything about the sister to be out there. I think you should feel free to disagree with her tactics, because a lot of what I saw really bothered me. But anyway, so going back, so here's what I saw in the video that really, kind of really got to me too. I really felt that the first police officer that Korryn was talking to in that video I just showed you guys, if you want to see it, actually, it's on a blog, one of the sites, blacktimetravel.com. It's on blacktimetravel.com. If you go there, it's right there. One of the first cops she talked to really seemed to be working hard to de-escalate the situation. I don't care if you agree with her or disagree. You can definitely see that this cop was trying his best to humor what she was dealing with. He saw the kids in the back, and he was like, basically, I don't want to do any of this with the kids in the back. And I think that's interesting because it shows another fundamental truth that not every cop wakes up thinking like a cold-blooded killer. Not every cop wakes up saying, "Oh, I want to go shoot somebody today." I know of a cop who got into a situation one time with some gang members. He was Latino, actually. He wasn't black. And he didn't want to shoot anybody, and because he didn't squeeze that trigger, he ended up getting ran over and beaten to death within an inch of his life. They saw that they saw his kindness and his hesitation as a form of weakness, and next thing you know, he was almost dead. And he said that traumatic experience made him have to quit the force a few years later, because he said, I was out there and I was so scared and so angry about what had happened to me. Here I tried to do the right thing and I got damn near murdered by my own people. He said that made him an angry officer, so he eventually quit. Now he's actually an advocate against police brutality, because and those cops are actually some of the best allies in the battle against police brutality, because they know the system better than most of us do. And so that, so you can't, if you're a rational person, you can't sort of hear these stories and not have some degree of empathy for those points of view. You can't just sort of say, oh, well, somebody was shot by the cops. The cops, all they want to do is get up and kill people. Mostly, I knew a lot of cops. I don't know that many cops who wake up and say, oh, I hope I get to shoot somebody today. I just don't. I mean, if you know cops like that, let me know. But I haven't met cops like that. But I do know cops who take their authority for granted, who kind of assume that they have the right to talk to you any old kind of way, make you do whatever they want you to do. They also know that the law is going to back them no matter what crazy or ridiculous thing that they do. That is part of your problem. And so, when I see Korryn, I see a woman who was, who had issues with the authority from the state. I would ask anybody who is analyzing all of this, really trying to think it through, really trying to get to the truth. I'm not talking to people who join bandwagons, either all cops are good or all cops are bad. if you're in those categories, this isn't necessarily the best conversation for you. But those who really want to kind of understand this, I want to ask you this question. This is an important question. If it was the case, if she had the gun, and mind you, this woman was not scared of no cops. You could see that in her eyes. I mean, she had no hesitation whatsoever. So if in that final incident, in that final standoff, if she's holding the gun and got her baby nearby, her 5-year-old, if she shot at the cops and they shot her back, was their action justified? Or if she did shoot at the cops, do you believe that they still should have de-escalated the situation without the use of violence? I mean, do you really think that there was still an avenue for non-lethal force in a situation where somebody used lethal force against you? You know, if somebody shoots at you, do you feel like it is your obligation to not shoot back, that you have to be non-lethal? I don't know. I don't really know exactly how you work that equation out. I know that the officers I've known have been human beings, and they have families, and their goal is to get home to their families too. So now some people say that the cops shot her first. If that's a possibility, I don't know. I'll also say that the other question that I think that has to be asked in all these cases, because we know the police officers are corrupt. We know Baltimore police are corrupt. That's what we do know. We do know this. So it's kind of unfortunate, because you're being asked to take the word of people that have proven themselves to be corrupt. If y'all wasn't corrupt, y'all would have prosecuted the cops who killed Freddie Gray. There would be some penalty. They wouldn't just be able to walk away. Juries don't even indict cops. It's the craziest thing. So with that being said, I would just love to kind of figure out, or hear from anybody that has some solution that would have involved non-lethal force. I don't know. Now let me give you something that a couple of things that I think you should think about. This is information that people sent to me. If you want to email me anything or send anything to us on this, maybe you know the family, or you know somebody who knows somebody who has some good information. I'm just looking for the truth. I'm not really looking to join a bandwagon. You can email me. My email address is boyce@boycewatkins.com. It's boyce@boycewatkins.com. So somebody, 65 Rose is saying, how are you going to scope on this issue when you don't know the facts? I know some of the facts. I don't know all the facts. None of us knows all the facts. And part of the reason we don't know all the facts a lot of times is because the police don't release all the facts. What I would like to ask the cops is, how come there were no body cameras? How come there's no footage to help us see it for ourselves? That's the problem. That's one of the other problems. You have the Alton Sterling situation where the body cameras just fell off, right? Or you have these shootings where they'll say, oh, well, we were implementing body cameras, but only 5% of the force is wearing body cameras now. Why not? Why is it not 100%? Why is it just 5%? Well, because y'all don't want to wear body cameras, because y'all are afraid of accountability. I would say that in Alton Sterling's case, what's interesting, and I tell you this, I've heard from sources, people that have reached out to me who have inside information, that there won't be an indictment in the Alton Sterling killing. And I just dare anybody to explain to me why there could be a non-indictment in that case, and you don't expect people to be mad at y'all. I mean, y'all keep on, killing people and not making anybody accountable for it. I mean, you're really hurting this country in the long term. You're creating instability by behaving in such an arrogant and an abusive fashion. That's the problem. So one thing I got, another thing about Alton Sterling. This is another thing I forgot to mention. I don't know if y'all know, but I just read today that Alton Sterling's autopsy is going to be sealed. Did any of y'all hear about that? Yeah, I'd read somewhere that Alton Sterling's autopsy is not even going to be released, and so, I mean, really, I mean, why are y'all not releasing the autopsy? Let's see, here it is. It says judge has sealed Alton Sterling's autopsy report, coroner says. So y'all up here, you're not giving the body camera footage. Now Gavin Long, the brother who blasted on the cops down in Baton Rouge, rest his soul and rest the cops' soul, rest everybody's soul, because I don't want to see nobody die. One thing Gavin Long had said in an email, I was on the list of people who received this email, but he had like 12 people on his list. Gavin and I were not friends, so I didn't know any of this until after somebody pointed out that he was in my inbox. I get about 1,000 messages a day, literally, so I can't read them all. There's too many of them sometimes. And one of the points that he made, and he didn't sound like a lunatic when he said it, he just sounded like a guy that had some questions and he was a little frustrated, was he said, why is it that the body cam footage was from the Alton Sterling killing was not released to the public? If the body cams fell off This is something he said. A lot of people won't think about this. He said, if the body cams fell off during the struggle, then why can't we watch the footage up until the body cams fall off so we can see this for ourselves? That's a good question. That's a very good question. And so I'm reading here on NBC. It says a federal judge has ordered officials not to publicly release an autopsy report on the death of Alton Sterling, the 37-year-old black man shot and killed during a struggle with two white police officers. East Baton Rouge Parish Coroner Bo Clark, and I mean, you're dealing with people named Bo Clark, give me a break, told the Associated Press during a telephone interview that he also is prohibited from releasing a copy of the judge's order, sealing his office's autopsy report. Clark said he signed the report on Monday. So, I'm looking here and I'm saying, let me see here. Clark says this was the first time since he became the parish's coroner in 2012 that a court order has sealed one of his office's autopsy reports. So he says this is the first time in 4 years that they've sealed an autopsy report. That's real deep. That's real deep. That's a cover-up. That's a cover-up. Now, does that mean you're covering up something bad? I don't know. Maybe not. But that is a cover-up. When I have information and you want the information and I seal the information, I'm covering up the information. I'm putting a lid on the information to keep you from getting it. So we know for a fact that there's a cover-up going on in Baton Rouge. Now, they covered up something bad? Probably, because if they were covering up good stuff, politicians and police officers tend to release the good stuff about themselves. They don't usually cover up the good stuff. They tend to cover up the bad. Clark announced last month that the autopsy shows Sterling died of multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and back. The Justice Department's investigating the fatal shooting. A spokeswoman for the Baton Rouge-based U.S. Attorney Walter Green's office said the agency couldn't comment on the judge's order due to the ongoing civil rights investigation. A Washington-based spokesman for the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division could not comment or say whether the judge sealed the report at the department's request. So they didn't tell nobody nothing. Some guy named Samuel Baginstos, a University of Michigan law professor who served as the Justice Department's principal deputy Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights from 2009 to 2011, said autopsy reports are commonly released during the course of criminal investigations. Without knowing more about the circumstances of the case, he said he could only speculate on a possible reason for sealing the Sterling autopsy report. He says it may just be a matter of privacy. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. It is privacy. Somebody's keeping something private. And I would just say that the lack of transparency, what it does is it creates skepticism. It increases an environment of distrust. You're already dealing with people that you already have a public that doesn't trust the police because the police lie. We did not ruin the police department's reputation. The police department ruined their own reputation by behaving the way that they do. Police departments across the country, the war on drugs, it started back in the 1970s. The war on drugs, when that began, that led to increased militarization of the police. It led to policing for profit. It led to extreme racial profiling, as well as a tremendous number of human rights abuses. So you can disagree, or you can agree or disagree with Korryn's perspective. You can agree or disagree with her tactics, but you cannot disagree that she was dealing with a corrupt organization in this particular situation. I just wish it didn't have to end in death. I just wish it didn't, So anyway, guys, I'm about to go. I want you, if you have a sec, please share this to your Facebook page, your social media. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, write down this URL, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net, not .com, .net, and you can get that. Also, if you, I should mention the sponsor of this podcast, greatblackspeakers.com. Greatblackspeakers.com is the largest black-owned speakers bureau in the country. So if you're looking to become a speaker or to book a speaker, you can go to greatblackspeakers.com. Also, we start the Black Wealth Boot Camp on Saturday. My formal training at Syracuse University is that of a finance professor, and we teach a really great wealth building class specifically for the black community that starts on Saturday. Today is the last day you can sign up. So if you're interested, go take a look at theblackwwealthbootcamp.com. That's theblackwwealthbootcamp.com. The URL should be up there. Somebody, if you could type it in, I'd appreciate it. Or actually, I'll type it in for you. Theblackwwealthbootcamp.com. So don't forget the theblackwealthbootcamp.com. So if you have any questions or any comments, or you want to email me, my email address is very easy. It's just boyce@boycewatkins.com. That's boyce@boycewatkins.com. I'm sure some of y'all are mad at me for what I said. Some of y'all may love what I said, but I'm just going to say, you know, my commitment is to black people and to the truth. Those are the two things I use as my benchmark. So you might not like me, but I'm going to be real consistent. That's one thing you can guarantee. So take care, guys, and I love you very, very much, and I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me. Your participation is not ever taken for granted. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.